Okay, we should have closed all those edges, and now we can come in and pop in color. But actually, some of you might want to go into the eraser tool, kind of like we did with the one portrait we were preparing for printmaking, because there might be just some little random spots. I don't mind that one because it's a kind of shadow there, but remember, it does, Photoshop does kind of heighten. And where did my navigator go? Does kind of heighten your image. So if this is not, let me bump my size down. If this is not a mole or a marker that is actually indicating anything like in your face that is something that you're known for, then you can come in and erase, and I'd be really careful. So I'm going to zoom in instead of changing that brush size. You don't want to erase something that's supposed to be there, okay? But like, let's say you don't like those two things and you can get rid of it. This is kind of going around his nose, so I'm going to leave that. And that's like a random little hair there. It does mean that would be one thing that you'd have to click and fill. So if you don't think it's necessary, then don't have it. You can also come in and I can grab that paintbrush tool, and that pixel size is too small for this one. And that's a little too big. So I can come in and get rid of some of these little small areas that I don't want. So this is just kind of cleaning up that image again, and then going in and doing your color fill. So Control-0, or remember, you can go to your navigator. So if I'm choosing, some of you or most of you should have already planned your color theory on that sheet with Miss Shepherd. We kind of went through your colors and planned out a monochromatic, an analogous, a triad, a complementary, a split complementary, and a tetrad color scheme. So that brain work should already be done. The easiest way to start this is to do your monochromatic. So if I'm doing monochromatic, I'm doing tints and shades of red. Now you can go into the desaturated, which is this area here where you're going into adding those grays to it and you have less color. Or if you wanted to be more like the pop artist and have that pure color pop, then you'll be in this range. Much more than going down there, but you do have a choice of going down into the desaturated. So your pure color is going to be in this top, kind of like reverse L. All right, so I'm going to go back to, remember, it's going to look like this when you turn on your laptop or turn on Photoshop. But if you right click over the gradient tool, you get a paint bucket tool, and then you can click, and you can see, since I separated here, it filled on one side. So that's going to give me an opportunity to go ahead and even do just a slight shift in that background and just change it a little bit. Or I can be more dramatic. I can have one side that is way lighter than the other side. And that's because his head kind of closed off right there. So I can come in. Oftentimes I like to choose a value and then come in and put that value in a couple of different places. So if that's kind of going to be my highlight value, then I'm kind of looking around and saying, well, where would that highlight be? And then I can do some fills. Whoops, Control-Z, undo, because it works right there at the tip of this arrow. So if I accidentally hit something, remember, you've got that finger right there on Control-Z, and you can also zoom in, so it would be easier. It would be a little bit of a bigger space that you're kind of popping that color in. Now I'm not going to want to pop that same color, so I might actually just lighten it up even more, because I want there to be some differences between the values that I'm putting in. So now I've got a different value, so I'm going to pop it in some of those other highlights. All right, so this first one takes a little bit long, but it's kind of just like a little clicking game that you're going around and filling in. And like I said, once you have a value, you can come in and fill in a couple of different places. You don't want it everywhere. You want to kind of do some color shifts with that main color. I might do one more there, and then I'll start going to a more medium color. And I hit OK. You also have over here on the color swatches,